everyone, how are you doing today? So I just fell off my chair and there's a video in Discord you can see. But it's awesome to have you all here. I'm super excited for this live stream. It feels like we haven't done a live stream in ages. So I'm super excited. So much has happened over the last week. I started a new YouTube channel, so I've got a second YouTube channel for shorts. So I might actually put that video from Discord on there because everyone says it's quite a good video, although it took no effort, which I'm not sure why it was so much fun. What else has happened? Yeah, so much. I can't even think of the list. We are doing Radio Eddie today. So if you do want to join, you can join the live stream. Well, I'm sharing my screen. You can join via audio only. And I'll let Nick explain. Nick, are you with us?
I am. Good morning,
Awesome.
everybody. So if you have the Team Eddie role, which means you've been active within our community, you can join the Radio Eddie waiting voice chat. And when I see you in there, I will manually move you to our Radio Eddie channel, where you will be live here on the stream with us, and everyone will be able to hear you chat.
Awesome. Super excited. I might have to adjust the volume slightly. So I've turned mine down a bit. Hopefully that's not too loud for everyone. I hope that's a bit better now. And hopefully Nick's volume's okay. But let me know. I can tweak those as needed. So what else has been happening? I've done a few pull requests on our open source client repo Stargate. And I've got a few more open. I've merged most of yours, I think. So that's pretty good. The project's going well. Lots of automation. We're automating. I mean, let's have a look. We can go check it out. So we are automating the docs. We are automating the labels. We are going to have to create some new labels today as well, but we'll do that via the automation via JSON file. We have the Node CI running. We have Stalebot, and we have Docker packaging up as well. We haven't got it deploying anywhere yet. That is for Monday's live stream. We will be deploying that to a Kubernetes cluster. I have Sid joining us. I'm pretty sure it's Sid. When people don't use their names everywhere, it's so confusing. But I will share.
It's Sid.
It's Sid. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I was just thinking of their YouTube name. I think it's like DevOps Directive or something. So I was trying to think of the name. Yeah, we'll be doing a live stream on how to automate the Docker package to a deployed version. So I'm really excited about working through that with you. That will be a live stream, so we are going to have some challenges, but we'll work through it with everybody, which I think will be exciting. But today, we're going to be pointing our issues. Excuse me. So we have a project board. If we go to the current project board, and you can see we have these issues, but they have no points. And for those of you who don't know what points are, it is... Oh, the intro music was loud. Okay. Thank you very much, Alex. But the volume's okay. Awesome. We've got Jay here, Yash, Nick, you're hearing from, BCA, and of course, Alex as well. Alex is always the first here. So thank you so much, Alex. That's awesome. What was I saying? I forget now. I don't remember. But we do have some tickets that I need to do. And so we need to point them. Yes, story pointing. Right. So in the olden days, people used to say, well, this is going to take me 2 hours. This is going to take me 2 days. But the problem is, if a ticket takes person A 2 hours, it might take person B 2 days because they have a different skill set, different experience, and there's so many unknowns and variables. So what we do in Agile is we story point things, and we also call these poker planning because usually you get a deck of cards and you kind of say, well, I think this is going to be 3 points or 5 points. And I want to reiterate this so many times, points do not equal hours or days. I know a lot of places do say, well, 1 point equals 1 day. Well, then that's not story pointing. That's just estimating in hours and masquerading, Agile as fragile, basically. So it's important to use points. And so to give you a real concrete example of why they don't equate the same, because if 1 point equaled 1 hour, for example, then an 8-point ticket would be the same as 8 1-point tickets, right? But in the real world, an 8-point ticket is not the same as 8 1-point tickets. I would rather have 8 1-point tickets than a single 1 ticket that is 8 points. Because as you add more points, which is the Fibonacci sequence, so 0.5, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, there, and a few more, but we don't really usually go that high. That the more points you have, it's not the more time, it's the more unknown, the more risk. and that's why it's important. So it has more what's the word, room for errors, mistakes, challenges unknown. And that's why if something's big, like say 8 or 13 or 21 points, what we usually do is we spike it. And what that means is we time box it and we give it say 3 points, like every spike is 3 points, and it must have an outcome. Doesn't mean it's going to get merged in or go in the repo, but you're spiking the unknown parts of that ticket. And hopefully then you can split the ticket down from say 13 points to, I don't know, a 5 and a 5 and a 3 or something like that, however it splits. But there are lower risk. People understand what is needed for those tickets. So let's have a look at the chat. When's resume review coming? We will try and do one next week. I'm going to try and do 2 resume reviews a month, 2 open source reviews a month as well. But I'm really keen to get everyone into a real world project, because this is a real client project. So if you want to start this project so you can follow along, see the activity and all the best practices we're doing, then you can. And we've got a great pull request from Nick setting up the Discord bot as well to use. And then we're going to add after that in another PR the Stargate database, which is just via HTTP. So it should be quite straightforward to use. And I have a video coming out on connecting those two together shortly as well. So we've got these tickets, but we should point them, because if, for example, this is the one we're doing now. So let's move that into progress. So that's the ticket we're doing now. And this one was one I spoke to with Sid yesterday about deploying the container to Kubernetes. Is in progress, and we will be in progress until Monday when we all do that together on a live stream. But what we're doing now is we're going to do the poker planning with all of you. And if you want to jump on the audio and join in the pointing, you can. And we're all going to think that the value or the risk of a point is different, and it's very true. So we do need to get 1 ticket or 2 tickets ideally that we all kind of understand, and therefore we can all roughly get on the same page. And that takes time as a team. It can take a team a couple of months to run through this process many times to all get on the same page. But one thing that's really important is why I always say communication first, is because if I gave something, I don't know, 3 points, and you gave something 8 points, that's like 2 steps away, then that's when you have a discussion and we say, well, why did I give it 3 points? Maybe I missed something. Maybe I just made an assumption that something doesn't need doing, and someone else made the assumption that it does need doing. And that's where you have the conversation, so you can try and at least get one kind of step apart from the majority of the team. And you need to include everybody in this. You need to include UX, UI, testing, and so forth. So although it might just be me and a few people joining the Radio Eddy to do the pointing, usually you would need different skill sets to do this. But first of all, let's make some changes, because if we go to our issues and we go to our labels, we have these labels that I stole from Nick's repo. There is a video coming out on Wednesday on that. But if you'll notice, there's no points. I thought I added a point one. Let me check. Yeah, points. We've got 1 point, but we need to add 2, 3, 5, Fibonacci sequence. So I wanted to do that with you on the live stream. By the way, if you're here, give the video a thumbs up. It really helps support the channel. Paro Doodley, awesome to have you here. How are you doing? Thanks for saying hi. I didn't steal them, I forked them. So to add a label, you would go new label and do it manually. But I'm automating this because I want this in more repos, and I want the client and the community to get involved. So where we've put this JSON file at the moment is in a docs directory. We probably will end up moving that later to a data directory, but for now it's just one file. So what I did, these will, as you'll see, will match what we had. And behind my head, great idea, Eddie. You can see at the bottom is points 1. So let me hit edit and let's add a few more points. So let's have a look. Can I scroll this up high enough so I'm not behind it? Hopefully I can. Yes, my big head. Right. Okay. So what we're going to do is copy that, and I'm going to do another one, which we're going to have. We need 2 points. Going to keep it the same color, the same icon, following the same standards of open source labels, which is in our docs. You can get a link to that if you want to learn more about it. So we need 2 points, and Fibonacci we need 3 points. And then 5, and then 8. And I think we'll stop at 13, because anything's bigger than that, then I'm a bit kind of, worried that there's too much unknown and it could drag out onto a week or 2 weeks worth of work. We need to add value as soon as possible, and that's really, really important. It's all about adding value. So people, when they say, oh, I've got, 5 years experience, 10 years experience, 1 year's experience. That doesn't mean anything to me. I want what value can you add to the team? If it's in documentation, is it in testing, is it in coding, whatever it is, it just needs to add value to the team and the project. Years and all that stuff doesn't really matter. And that's why it's important to showcase it on your open source projects, the things that you can do. So I think that's okay. I don't think I have made any JSON errors there. Really, I should commit this to a new branch, but I'm going to be naughty. We are pair programming with all of you on the live stream, and hopefully if I'd made any mistakes, you would shout it out. Kartiki, how you doing? So what was that, Nick?
Shame. Never commit directly to main.
Nick has spoken. Let's make a pull request, and Nick can approve it for us. So what we'll do is we'll do a feature, and we'll use the conventional commit message so we can create our releases and our changelog and so forth out of it. So it'll be a feature, and we'll say story point labels. We haven't got a ticket number. Oh no, we do have a ticket number, Eddie. Eddie, we do. It's Agile Story Points labels, number 80. So let's go follow along. And you might think, oh, this isn't important, but this is really, really important to do these sorts of things, because people will look at your GitHub profiles and see not only how you code, but also how you manage your projects. So it's important that you all do something similar as well. So issue 80, that's what I want to call the branch. So it all kind of ties back together. Nick has spoken, so we will be raising a pull request. It fixes 80, so we can close that. So it will automatically close that when the pull request gets merged. And we're going to say agile, can't spell agile, agile story points, agile story points. That's it. Agile story points labels, actually. We should be more descriptive. I'm not going to do a screenshot. I don't think that's needed. Let's create the pull request. Hopefully Nick is happy, and hopefully all of you are happy. Let me share the link in the chat, and you can all review it and let me know what you think. So if I go to files changed, you can see that I've got points. And when this gets merged, all our labels should get updated. So now we see, as you can see, I have points. We only have the 1 point, but we should have 2, 3, 5, 8, up to 13 appear in our labels once the GitHub action runs and it gets merged. So who's approved it? Nick says it looks good. Anyone else? Remember, when you're open source on GitHub, it's not just about the commits and the code. Make sure you get a variety of content on your profile. So if I go to mine, as an example, you should see that graph, like, is it a spider graph that they call it? Underneath, like, forget the green squares. The spider graph, you can see code reviews for me are high-ish, and pull requests are lower. So really, you want to kind of get that to be a diamond. You want your profile to, roughly be the same all over the place to show that you're a well-rounded, engineer. So I think Nick has approved it. Looks good. Nick's approved it. Awesome. Okay, Nick isn't a maintainer, so I'm just going to say reviewed by Nick, and then I can't approve my own pull request. I'll just merge it with my administration privileges as something I need to fix then. But thank you very much. There's the proof. Nick has reviewed it, and all of you have reviewed it, right? We've been pairing on this together. So I will merge it. There we go. I do squash if there are loads of commits in the pull request, but in this case, I wasn't doing that. So let's have a look now. If we go to actions, it should be running. It is running. Okay, hopefully it works. Fingers crossed. Of course it's going to work. Actually, in theory, we should update the docs potentially, and that will also get deployed to a website, because we do have our docs building out now. So everything in the docs directory does get deployed into a single page website as well, which is awesome. Okay, so when the action finishes, we should see the labels change, and hopefully nothing is broken. What did Andrew say? Hey, Andrew, we use prefix numbers on the labels with something so you know what the number means, points, estimates. Oh, let's have a look. The action is finished. If I refresh the labels, yes, they're all there. So yeah, we have prefixed them with the word points. So I use the full word here, and I use the icon as well, the emoji that I picked. We can always change that later, but we do have points now. 1 to 13. Again, anything higher than 13 really should be broken down. What else have we got in the chat? Andrew's too slow. Yeah, it all moves so fast. Don't worry. I'm sure we'll repeat some things as well. Okay, nice. So let's have a look. So we need to now we need to vote on these issues, right? So I'm going to close the actions. The actions run. We've got the project board running. This was into review, but now it's actually done as well. It's been merged. So awesome. Thank you very much for that. So who do we have? No one's on Radio Eddy at the moment, but let's plan some of these. So this is the live streaming poker planning, what we're doing at the moment. This is what we're all doing together. And let's see. So this is a really good one here. So we've got CI badges. We've got lots of things running on GitHub Actions. I mean, look, there's loads. We've got changelog added to the release, documentation being deployed to GitHub pages, the import labels that we've just used, stale issues, the node, like the testing and all those sorts of things, and publishing the Docker image to the registry, which is on the right here as well. So we've got the GitHub registry here for Docker container and the releases. But, did I just hit refresh? No. Okay, but we don't have badges in the README, and everyone loves badges. So we should vote on this. So let's just open this and have a look what it says. So badges for the README, import labels, node CI, and publish docs. It'd be great to know if those are successful. So it would be good to have those, but we should point that. So I think I only have Nick on Radio Eddy, so it's going to be Nick and me pointing on this. So the first one is always just trying to get a gauge. So usually, rather than kind of holding our cards and saying, so we don't. The reason why you hide your cards, if you're using actual poker planning cards, is because you don't want to copy each other. A lot of the time, people just see someone else put a 5 and they'll put a 5. But you want to have that conversation, right? You want to challenge someone. If you do think it's a 13 or you do think it's a 1, it's good to have that conversation before the work gets done, so there's no surprises. So, but with the first one, Nick and me have no idea like what a 1 is or a 3 is or anything like that. So the first one's always going to be the hardest. But so we'll talk about this one. We won't hide our cards. We'll talk about this one. So Nick, I would personally give this one, for example, a 1 point, because there isn't much risk to it. There isn't anything. There is some unknowns. I'd have to look at the docs, but it's literally going to be a copy and paste and change some of the URL variables. But I don't see it as a high risk. What are your thoughts on this?
I was thinking that was, generally a documentation update like that is something that I would mark as low risk and even open up for first time contributors with some instructions on how to perform the changes. So I think we're on the same page there. That's a 1 point action.
Sounds good. And I have put an example in here with the actual badge. I didn't hit show more to show that before, but there's the badge from actually the action that you put together, I think, and then here's the actual what I used to do it. And it might need tweaking and improving, but it was an example. So let's give that a 1 point. So we're not assigning this to anyone. It doesn't mean Nick and me are the ones that are doing this, but we've come up with some points. So we've agreed that it's going to be a 1 pointer. So there you go. Now it's got the label of 1 point. Let's look at the next one. Let's pick another one. We might have to create some more as well. But okay, let me bring this one up. Let's have a look at this one. Let's bring this one up next. So the build version number in the docs. So as I mentioned, we have the docs being deployed. But what I've noticed in the past, on past experiences with real world clients, is that someone says, "Oh, I read the docs. I did this, but it didn't work, or it didn't look the same, or whatever it was." And you find out they've taken a screenshot or they've saved the page or something like that, and it's an old version. So what I thought would be really useful is in the footer, by default, I don't know if you can see, it's behind my head. Anyway, in the footer underneath, there's a date and time, which is quite useful, but it's easier to have a version number to know what version were they looking at, rather than trying to say, well, okay, it was 3 days ago. Have we had a deployment since then? But you get to know your version numbers, like we're on version 0.3.1 and they're looking at 0.3.0. That makes sense. I think I got those numbers right. So have a think about that. And let me just catch up with the chat as well. There is Planet Poker by Andrew. Yes, this is actually quite useful. So I have seen a similar one to this. This isn't the one that I've seen, but maybe we can get everyone... Is it free to use? I think there was one that's open. We can get everyone in the audience, everyone watching. And would you all want to vote? The poker plan votes I put together. Been a long week. There is another one that I came across. Agile Poker Planning. Let me see. Hopefully it will show it as red. Online. I think this might have been the one. Let me see. Yeah, this was the one. And then I think you just give it a session name and you do it public, and then you can kind of all join and add your name and vote. Would people want to do that? I can set that up really quickly, and I can share the link in the chat and you all can join as well. I think that might be interesting, get you all involved. Hey Eddie, can you turn up the volume on the microphone? Volume as you feel low. Okay, yeah, we can crank that up. Let's see. I turned it down because I misunderstood that it was the music that was loud, not me that was loud, and I didn't turn it up enough probably. Hopefully that helps. To gauge for ticket size, it's a good thing to do. Pick between 5 and 8 tickets, yeah, and sort them, absolutely. You want a 1-pointer, which we've done, and we probably want, something at the high end of the scale, a 13-pointer to gauge that. I'll try and pick one out now. You're right. For a second issue, that would be quite good. Okay, it's free to use. Cool. So let's go back to Andrew's right. Let's pick a bigger one, and then we can get an idea on our kind of linear with a curve scale. Let's have a look and see. We probably need to create some more as well. I should have thought about this beforehand. So actually, we just point this one, deploy Docker container to Kubernetes cluster. I think this will be a good one. And we could actually point some of the older ones as well. I know they're done, but it will also give us a gauge. So this one, here is the ticket. It's kind of in progress because Sid and me need to do a few things in preparation for Monday, because you don't want to see us go get the tokens and stuff. You just want a token available so we can automate it all. Right, so let's have a look. So, so this ticket, I think, is considerably bigger. I don't think bigger necessarily in terms of time, but I personally think bigger in terms of, because there's a lot of unknowns, I don't know about it. So I'd have to look up documentation, research. It might take a few minutes. It might take a few hours. Not really sure. So yeah, the idea is the Docker container is built already, and the Kubernetes cluster will be up and running already. So those two are out of the side of this ticket. But this ticket is to have our GitHub action authenticate with the Kubernetes cluster, grab the already deployed package and push it to the cluster. So every time it runs, we get the latest deployment. But we will want stuff like what version was deployed, so we can easily know what version it is and stuff like that. So there's a few little bits to it like that as well. I will need to do Kubernetes secrets, so we can have the Discord token hidden, because we don't commit that to the Docker package. So we will need, at the moment, the Docker package is just hello world, but we will need to update it so it accepts an environment variable for the Discord bot. So Nick, do you have any questions, or are you happy to kind of point on this one?
I think I can point this.
Awesome. Cool. Oh, I've just noticed we also have Sid in the chat as well. Sid, we've just been talking about Monday's live stream that we're going to do together. Really awesome. And we're actually story pointing the ticket that we created yesterday, I think it was yesterday, for our Monday's live stream. So we're just about to point that. Linear with a curve. Yeah, exactly. I was kind of joking. Thanks for pointing that out. I wonder how many people noticed. But Sid, if you want to join Radio Eddie in our Discord, you can go to the Radio Eddie waiting channel, and our awesome mod Nick will move you across, and you can jump on the audio with us, and you can help us point this ticket if you want. And just to shout out, Sid has an awesome YouTube channel as well. Go check it out too. I should grab a link and share it as well. Let me go share that actually. Or if Nick, if you don't mind, while I'm catching up with the chat, if you don't mind grabbing Sid's channel and sharing it in the chat, I'd really appreciate it. If not, I can do it.
I'll get it.
Thank you so much. Okay. What have I missed in the chat? Let me see. Anyone tell me what's going on? I'm new to open source. Bansal, it looks like I got already some answers in the chat, but just for anyone else who's joined new, what are we doing is we've got an open source project. It's a real client project, so I haven't invented this. This is a real client project, and we're trying to follow best practices as much as we can, take it with a pinch of salt, but we've automated so many things, which is great. But this part we can't automate. We need to story point, which is like size our tickets. And we're not doing hours or days, we are actually doing points, and points do not equate to time. It's like risk and complexity. So yes.
We have Sid here.
Hey Sid, how you doing?
Hey, doing well. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you well. Awesome. Thanks for joining.
Sure.
Awesome. Are you excited for Monday's live stream?
Super excited. Super excited.
Cool. Me too. I will be making that thumbnail over the weekend, and then I can share that with everybody. Do you want to give yourself a quick shout out? So you, on your YouTube channel, you do DevOps stuff, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I focus on DevOps and cloud infrastructure and helping people level up their skills in those areas. So I do a lot of Docker. We're going to add some Kubernetes. This will be a fun live stream on Monday where we're going to dive into deploying something into Kubernetes. And then hopefully things go well.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure we've got the ticket here. We made some notes yesterday. I'm super excited, and I have all confidence in you. So it's all good. You're going to do all the hard work. I'm just going to kind of be the just type things out, run lots of commands. It's fine. Awesome. So let's point this. So I don't know if you caught the bit where we pointed. Where was it? We pointed like adding CI badges to the README. Nick and me gave it 1 point, and I thought, as Andrew in the chat suggested, we should probably, as a second story that we point, pick one that's the other end of the scale. And so I thought this one that we're doing for Monday is probably the other end of the scale. I mean, for you, it's probably easy, but again, this is where we'll have this discussion about story points. So, yeah. I think the ticket is quite self-explanatory. Sid or Nick, do you have any questions, or shall we point it?
I think I'm ready to point it.
Let's
go for it.
Let's do it. Okay, so we're going to shout it out, and probably won't be able to hear who said what, but on 3, let's shout it out together and see if it works.
Before we do that, are we doing the full ticket, or are we pointing each checkbox individually?
The full ticket.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's quite a big one. Ideally, we should break things down, and maybe we will later on. Like if we point really high on this, we might say, actually, let's split it down into smaller tickets. So it's kind of like, this is like the phase 1 of pointing, I suppose. Sound okay?
Yeah, and just to confirm, since I joined a minute ago,
sure.
1 point equates to approximately what unit of time? 1 hour, right? Or 1 day? Or how do we do this?
There is no unit of time. So I'm going like, what's the word? Not old school. What's the word when you're like trying to keep it like true? Can't think of the word. But yes, so no, there's no portion of time, because this ticket would take you a lot less time than me, for example. Yep. And so we want to have points equate to effort and risk, unknowns, those sorts of things. So yes, I can't think of the word that I'm thinking of. I can't remember. But yes, so we're keeping it like to the true sense of agile story pointing. When I have clients who say time, I kind of go, we're not really story pointing then. So tasks are a bit different, I suppose. If we broke this down, had subtasks, then we might do something like that. But yeah, we'll try and keep it don't think of time. So to give you an example, the CI badges ticket, we gave it 1 point, and it's pretty small. And 1 point might even be half a point, but I haven't put half a point in the labels, and maybe I need to add that, I'm not sure. But yeah, kind of 1 point, and then this is at the other end of the scale, a lot more work and effort, and a lot more risk. For me, there's a lot more risk, I think, as well, because there's a lot of unknowns for me. But let's see, right?
Is there a maximum number of points you can give? Sorry if I'm asking.
No, this is great. No, this is awesome. No, this is what we want to discuss, right? This is, I think, everyone's points of view just really helps. The conversation helps us all understand. So everyone, if you've got questions, ask them in the chat, and we'll get to them. So your question was, what's the maximum? So in Fibonacci, you can go to 100, but I actually only went to 13 because you can point more than 13. So if you did think it's like 21, fine. But then the reason why I haven't got a label for it is because I would want to break it down, if that makes sense, into smaller ones. Because I would rather have, you probably missed this bit at the beginning where I said, I would rather have 8 1-point tickets than a single ticket that's 8 points. Because the 8-point ticket is not the same as 8 1-point tickets, because the risk on the 8 points is like really high. It's kind of exponential, I suppose, in terms of the risks unknown and all the rest.
Definitely. And it's much easier to share work if it's broken down into smaller chunks.
Love that. That's so true. Exactly. So if we do have a ticket, like this ticket's going to be quite big, and we are breaking it down between you and me and so forth. So it could be split up. So we could close this and split it up into smaller tickets. So this is not necessarily the Final ticket is more the starting point to start the conversation and see what we need to get done, and then we can break it down further.
Perfect.
Awesome. So let's go. Like, if we don't get it all right, like if one person's on 4.5, another person's on 9.25, these aren't Fibonacci numbers, I'm using them specifically, not using numbers, and one person's on, like, I don't know, 15.75, then that's fine. It's just a discussion point of maybe one of us has missed something, or one of us has included stuff that we shouldn't be including because that's actually a different ticket. Okay, let's just do it, right? Let's shout out on 3, and we'll probably not understand who said what, and we'll have to just repeat it. So ready? 3, 2, 1, 13. What?
5.
You two didn't shout it out.
I did.
Okay, what did we get? I heard a 5. Was that Sid?
I said 5. That was Sid.
And then Nick?
I said 8.
And I said 13. Okay, so we're like 2 steps apart, I think, which is a great discussion point. So I knew Sid would go lower because it's easier for you. So for you, there's less risk, right? You know the command. And if you want to look something up in the docs, you know what to look for. Whereas me, I want to be Googling, how do I set this? Or, it's a bit more like, I suppose I'm going to be spraying and praying a bit more. So... yeah, so I suppose can you explain why you gave it 5 because you're the lowest, and I can maybe explain why I gave it a 13. Maybe we agree on 8. Maybe we still disagree, and we can get more accurate by splitting the ticket up potentially as well.
Sure, yeah. So if I look at the breakdown of the tasks there, the first one I know how to do. I've done before, so I'm going to go off and do that pretty quickly. The fourth one as well should be straightforward. The two with a little more risk for me, or sort of migrating from the current Hello World application into this Discord bot, which I haven't done, and so there's a little more unknown there. And then the test command to bring in the app version, I think, should be straightforward. So the one with the most risk to me is that second sub bullet. But otherwise, everything looked pretty straightforward, so that's why I kind of went with a 5.
Okay, makes sense. Nick's in the middle, so I'm the other extreme. The Hello World bot, I've got 2 like options. So my thinking of that was the lowest risk. One is I just take their example from their docs and just do kind of Hello World. Or the other option is there is a pull request opened by Nick who set the foundations for this already. So I can just use that, and I would need to, so I can just use that by merging that pull request in or creating a branch off that branch, for example. So that one for me is lower risk. Again, this is why I think, just everyone watching, why pointing is so valuable, because everyone's point of view of risk is so different. That's why it's good to get different points of view from testers, from UX and all the rest. For me, the environment variables via the Docker and then the secret in Kubernetes is like, I can kind of, I think, muddle my way through the whole Docker environment variables. So I've passed stuff in before when using other like MySQL or whatever, passing in the password, but I haven't created a container where it's expecting an environment variable. I would know what to Google, so it's a medium kind of to low risk for me. But yeah, the Kubernetes and the secrets and those sorts of things is super high because I'm just going to be spraying and praying on Google and hoping I find something that makes sense. Nick, what are your thoughts? Because you're kind of in the middle, which is really good. But what were you thinking?
So my thoughts are first, the Hello World Discord bot is it's already taken care of by that pull request. So that's really, I didn't account for that in the pointing because it's done. But also, we consider the fact that even though we're connecting to a database that requires HTTP calls, we are not spinning up a full web server. We're spinning up a Discord bot that can send HTTP requests, which is, that removes a huge chunk of overhead in and of itself. And then, both Kubernetes and Docker are pretty uncharted territory for me. However, DigitalOcean has such phenomenal documentation on both of these points that while it would be new things, it would be there are more than enough resources available out there that I'm not treading water. Barely. I'm not drowning in information or in I'm not lost. It's we have enough information and documentation out there that I might be muddling my way through it, but I would muddle my way through it and understand what I was muddling.
Sure, makes sense. So what we usually do for everyone watching, what we usually do is after we've kind of discussed it and figured out why we gave it the points, if there is a discrepancy or a big discrepancy, then we would go back and repoint it. Nick said something that made me think of something, and now I've forgotten it, and I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, the whole DigitalOcean side. And oh yes, the whole web server side. Yes, so I was chatting about this with Sid yesterday. I did say that we probably wouldn't need the ingress routing part because there's no external traffic going to hit an HTTP. It'll be the bot calling out, and then it'll be keeping the WebSocket open. So I think that simplifies that a bit. So no service, and Sid, correct me if I say this incorrectly, there's no service that is needed in the Kubernetes cluster to do the load balancing and the external routing. So I think we can simplify that by just having the pod, hopefully my terminology is right, the pod running, but then we can't load balance across multiple pods or something, if I remember correctly.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. And I think, a single pod for now is fine. We don't, there's not going to be loads of traffic. I think it should be okay. And when we deploy, we can have an extra pod, and again, Sid, correct me if I'm wrong, an extra pod. So therefore the current pod, which is running the Discord bot, doesn't disappear until the new pod is up and running, and then Kubernetes will swap them out. So there should be no downtime as well. Is that correct?
That's correct. The one thing I'm not sure about, just from a architectural perspective on the Discord bot side, is whether Discord supports two of the same bot connected at once. So that would be an open question for me.
So you can connect. You can have two connections, and I see people make this mistake all of the time when they are changing hosts and they forget to turn off their old host. You can have two connections, and Discord, the platform doesn't care, but you'll have two connections responding to all of your inputs. So if you have two connections running at the same time and somebody calls a help command, the same bot will respond twice, once from each connection.
Ooh, got it. Yeah. So that could happen in this case, right? If we have Kubernetes spin up the new version in a new pod, and the old version hasn't terminated yet, there could be a period of a few seconds where there's a duplicate action there.
Got you. Okay, interesting. We'll try it out. We'll see. We'll add value by having this automated, and if we need to make more further improvements in the future, then we can. I'm just going to catch up with the chat. I see some people voting in the chat as well. Jennifer, awesome to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. Hope all is well. Alan, I've just made you a mod on YouTube. I didn't realize you weren't, so you should be able to paste in any links that you need to. While I'm catching up on the chat, everyone give this video a thumbs up. Go check out Nick's GitHub. Awesome open source stuff. Check out Nick's bot. Super cool. And check out Sid's YouTube channel as well. So Andrew's saying poker planning would occur after the teams reviewed the backlog. So items have been discussed already. Yeah, that's true. I'm kind of squishing the two together to try and save on time. I don't think we're going to go through every ticket, but if we can go through the ones that I'll probably do in the next few days, or we will probably do as a community in the next few days, that would be awesome. If you want to follow along as well, you can start the project and you can contribute. It's open source. So what else have we got in the chat? Can I give points in the chat? Yes, you can, absolutely. So Andrew gives it a 5. Are you just agreeing with Sid? Because Sid is the expert on this ticket. Is that what it is, Andrew? So you're supposed to agree with me. But I want to re-vote anyway in a second. We're going to all re-vote in a second anyway. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Have I missed anything else in the chat? It's great to see everyone's kind of chatting to each other. Don't worry, you're not late. Awesome to have you here. Thanks for joining. Okay, cool. Let's repoint. I think we've discussed it, and we might need to split it potentially. I think we could, because we could do some tasks beforehand, and we will probably do them in a certain order as well. Although we'll probably do all of them on the live stream on Monday, but we could split it. It might help us get a bit more accurate. But I don't want to spend too long on a single ticket, because then I think the more tickets we do, the more understanding we'll get of what the kind of value of a point is and risk and so forth. So shall we repoint? Are you both ready? And everyone in the chat ready? I'll take silence as a yes.
Ready here.
That's cool.
Ready here.
Let's do it. We've got Alan as well. Awesome. Okay, Radio Eddie is it's got a few people on, which is wicked. Okay. 3. I want to put my hands up with the numbers. 3, 2, 1. Oh, we need some sound effects. Still went 5 for Sid. 8 for it was 8, wasn't it, Nick?
Yes.
Yeah, I went 8 as well. I think that's 8. 5, 8. Yeah, that's 8.
I can come up to 8.
So that
if you want me to.
So that's the next part, of the poker planning. To see if we can we're only one step apart. It's not the end of the world. We could probably err on the side of caution, and go to the 8, and Sid's agreeing. So unless someone's really adamant, which rarely happens, right? People don't mind going one way or the other, kind of by one degree, especially if two people, what people have said in the chat, if two people have voted for a particular point. But interested to see. I know we had Andrew with a 5. I don't know if Andrew's sticking with a 5. What else do we have in the Alan? What have you got? Let us know. Jay. Sorry, what was it, Alan?
I think it's an 8.
Okay, 3 to an 8. Yes, I won. I need a victory sound. Level up. Yes. Okay. That's why you want an odd number of people. Yeah, Andrew brings up a really good point. Having an odd number of people planning is really important, because then you can kind of just go to the more popular number rather than having, 2 people say this number and the other 2 say this number. So let's give it an 8. We don't want to spend too long on this ticket. So if I scroll down here, let me see. We can give it 0.8. There we go. Awesome. So now our issue list, if we go to our issue list, we can see the points starting to appear. These aren't in order. We're going to do them in order via the project board. But the great thing here is you can actually filter. So if you want to see, if we say, 8 points are too big, we want to break them up. There's only 1 at the moment, but you could click on it and it'll filter by 8 points, and then we could break it down. And I think the other great thing about this is if someone wants to do, where is it? We should have one where it says, not a good first issue. We do not have anything that's a good first issue, do we not? I need to sort that out. But the point is, if someone wants to filter by a good first issue, and like this one's a good first issue, the CI badge. So let me put a label on that saying good first issue. Nick did mention that. I don't know why I didn't put that label on. So good first issue. Now the great thing is, if someone comes to your repo or to this repo and they filter by good first issue, yes, there's just 1, but imagine there's more. They could see good first issue 1 point, good first issue 3 points. They know that the even though they don't know what a 1 point or a 3 point actually means, but they can see that the 3 point is probably 3 times harder, more complex than the 1 pointer. And it's more about this word is probably not a word, the relativeness. Is that a word? Did I make that up? I don't know.
It's a word now.
It's a word now. Yeah, it's a word now. So perfect. Love that. Yeah, it's about the relativeness. Absolutely.
Just as a note on this Creative Commons label system, when an issue is opened, it gets the awaiting triage label automatically, so that you know that it's a new issue and hasn't been investigated yet. But once you remove that awaiting triage label, it should have a label from the priority category, the status category, the goal category, and the aspect category.
Oh, interesting. It should have a label from each category. I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay, so just to reiterate what Nick was saying, if you use any of our templates, they all get this label, so it automatically get added. And should have so let's just go to the first one, the CI badge one. This is the easiest one. It should have one from which category? So it
should have priority, status, goal, and aspect.
Okay, so it has aspect, it has goal, it has points. So we're going to add points to that list for us, and we're missing one, which is priority. So I was going to do priority.
priority and status.
Oh, and status as well. Okay, block, discard. Oh, ready for dev. Got you. Okay, makes sense. I was going to use priority with the backlog board, but we can also add it to this as well. So I think the priority on this is quite low to have the badge. I would like it. I think it's a high in terms of it's cool. I like it. I really want it. But in reality, if it doesn't get done right now, nothing. It's not blocking anyone. It's not affecting the performance of the application or the usage. So yeah, I think overall it's a low. Okay, now our issue list should look even nicer now. Got more colorful, and it should help. There you go. There's the issue there, and should help people who are joining to get an understanding of what's going on. Right, so we've got an 8-pointer, we've got a 1-pointer, so hopefully we're all kind of clear on roughly the points. Which one should we do next? Maybe this one next. And it is awaiting triage. There's some people in chat. Mohit, awesome to have you here. Jay says 21. I have to Google each point. That's fair enough. And I think, in planning, you can also discuss with people. So one thing, actually, this is an important point. So I'd like to mention this. And I can use Nick and me and Sid as an example, and yourself. But say, for example, we were up against the clock and this really needed to get done ASAP for whatever reason, like it was mission critical, then we'd probably give it to Sid to do because it will be more efficient, quicker. But we wouldn't be any more knowledgeable. We might review the pull request, but it's not the same as doing it. Whereas if we've got time, what I like to do with my teams is I like to have it that the people who aren't the most familiar with that ticket to do it, and maybe pair with the person who is familiar. That way you get that knowledge transfer. So in the future, if that person who is an expert at that ticket in that area, if they're on holiday, off sick, whatever it is, then other people can easily pick it up. They might still be slightly slower, but that's not a problem, but at least they know what to do. So yeah, in this instance, or you could split it up as well, and that's something we will do. But in this instance, we're going to pair on it and do it together on Monday on a live stream, which I think is a great example. But if we weren't doing pairing on it, which I still recommend as a thing to do, you could go one way or the other depending on how things are going with that sprint. But I think pairing just is amazing. I love it. That's why I'm pairing with all of you now. Well, kind of octo pairing. That's a word, right? Okay, let's have a look. So the next one, build version number in the docs. Should we do that one next? Have I written something? It'd be great to include the build number in the docs, so if someone has an issue with the docs, to know exactly what version it is, because it could be out of date. I think that makes sense.
Hey Eddie, this is Sid. I'm
Hey.
going to have to drop, but I was
No
glad
worries.
to have joined briefly to say
Thank
hello,
you so much.
and I'm looking forward to Monday.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. And Radio Eddie is about jumping in and out. So, thank you so much for popping in. And thank you so much for going through that ticket with us. And I'll see you on the live stream on Monday.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Bye,
Have a great
Sid.
weekend.
Take care. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Awesome. Okay. So, this one. Any questions on this one? Anyone in
I
the chat,
think-
Nick?
Andrew brought up a very good point in the chat that we're looking at and assigning point values to an issue here that has not yet been triaged.
True. So I have kind of missed these in their terms of the triage step because haven't got a dedicated product owner. The client has given me a broad kind of scope and I'm working towards that. They have got access to the repo, it's open source, so they have been looking at it. But I am kind of almost partly the product owner at the moment. But I think it's going to be if we look at the project board, this is V01. I think V01, they were saying they're going to be quite loose in what I build or what we build. And then 0.02, they're going to then start honing in as it moves along. So it's going to be pretty relaxed in what tickets we do. The high level goal was to have a Discord bot using CRUD on Stargate database, which is Cassandra underneath. That was their criteria, and to use best practices to kind of do it as best we can as a community. So that was the goal. And then moving forward, before I say that, and in the CRUD, we're going to store like a description for each person in Discord, if they want to save a description, and their social links. That's it, like really, really simple. But the idea is that's going to give us a talking point to see what other ideas they want and they can do. So we have talked about the map idea, the live map that I did once on the live stream, and people in the community have suggested that. So there is another project board with kind of future ideas. If you do have ideas of what can be done, we did start a board up with future ideas. So there is this map. I thought there was a screenshot for it. There was a screenshot somewhere for it. Someone took a screenshot of an idea and an example. So yes, so take that with a pinch of salt for the moment. That will get stricter in the future. In my intern, I created double as many tasks for each user story because we want to try and break each user story down to tasks, take a maximum of a day, and I work half the speed of full-time developers. Yeah, breaking things down is amazing. Like if we can, break it down as much as we can. I'd rather have like 13 one-point stories than one 13-point story. Absolutely. Definitely break it down as much as we can. Eddie's waving at Sid even though they can't see him. Yeah, it was. I don't know. Didn't you just like wave bye to anyone when you're on a Zoom call? I say Zoom. I hate Zoom, but everyone uses it. All my clients send me Zoom links. Don't you just kind of go, bye? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Nick, you must do that as well, right? No?
I waved to everything, even though I'll be sitting here. I waved goodbye to Sid, and you can't even see me.
That makes me feel so much better. So thank you so much. At least the people on the live stream can see me, but you waved and no one can see you. So that's great. That made me feel better. So thank you very much. Cool. Any questions on this one? Do you want me to explain kind of any more about it? There's a bit of an unknown of how it would be done. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think we need to discuss the implementation here, because the implementation affects how I would point this.
Sure. So.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I can't remember how the footer is done. I'd have to look at the docs. But what you can do for have I closed it already? I think I have. What you can do for the deployed version, which looks like this, you can, it's behind me. Let me bring it a bit smaller, a bit up to the corner. If I bring it up there, and then hopefully people can see, and I scroll down, there's like the date and time here in the corner. But what you can do, that's just generated by default. We can customize that with some config. I can't remember exactly. I think you create like a HTML snippet and then you kind of include it, and it will overwrite this with our HTML snippet. And the idea is, I think we get the config out of the package.json, because everything is hinging off that package.json. You'll see that the packages should be the same numbers. The latest one, not the ones before, but the latest one is 031, and then our releases is 031 as well. And we also, as people are aware, that if not, I've got a video on this. We generate the changes, bug fixes, features, and so forth. So all those numbers are the same. So what I'd like to do is use the same number for the docs. So in this folder, I'm guessing we'll have footer.html, and it will have the HTML in it, and we'll just maybe put like double bracket handlebar sort of style with version, and then on CI we'll just do a regex, and I think it's just a sed, and we'll replace the word version with whatever is in package.json, which gets generated by GitHub, which gets updated by GitHub Action. So it's this, but should get updated by GitHub Action. There is a pull request. We were talking about this earlier. So if we go to this pull request. Yeah, so it gets updated by the action. There are some challenges around that. We will have to look into that as well. But the idea is, yeah, everything hinges off this version that is in package.json. So that's the implementation. How I would go about it. I should probably put that in a ticket.
Yes.
I just realized that. Yes, definitely. It's be inclusive, right? We want everyone in the open source world to join. So, ASCII, I should dig out I'll find it in the docs as well. ASCII Doctor can have a custom footer. Before we include it, custom footer, and then we need to on GitHub Action. Replace, I'll actually even put an example like version in the footer with the package.json version. When building the docs, include the footer, the custom footer. I think does that make sense now or not really? Have I made it worse?
No, that makes sense. That's what I was thinking, but it's great you explained it.
Cool. Well, it helps me think it through as well. So it's really good that I love it when people like ask questions and challenge things to make me actually think about it more, rather than when I get to it, I'm like, right, I need to think about this. So perfect. Thank you all so much. Okay, so I will save that now. Here we go. Update. And I'll try and get a link to the docs, and I'll try and include it in here as well after the live stream. So that's what I'm thinking. Have I missed anything in the chat? I don't think I have. It sounds more doable when Eddie explains it now. Yes, I hadn't written a good issue, but that's why it's good to go through these. I always find that in kind of planning, we always get good questions, and then we improve the tickets and make notes and so forth. So, yeah, is everyone ready to point? Everyone, Nick, Alan, everyone in the chat, ready to point this one?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Okay. I'm not ready though. Let me think. I'm between two numbers, but they're quite close, so it's not the end of the world. Okay. 3, 2, 1. 3 points.
3.
3.
Yes. Awesome. We won. What did everyone say? We won because we got the same. Okay, it's not about winning. What did everyone say in the chat? Let's just give them a second for the chat messages to come through. But I think 3 is good. I was toying between a 2 and a 3. I thought it was like maybe a high 2 or a low 3. I think there's a little bit of unknown. I can't remember exactly where to look in the docs, so we'll have a Google for it. But I roughly know what I'm looking for. And then this with the CI, having to run it on CI, and you can build it locally anyway to make sure it works, and then just need to check that it runs on CI rather than having CI do everything. So yeah, okay, sounds good. Jay gave it a 3 as well. Thank you so much. Cool. Okay, let's give it a 3 and assign some other labels. Let's remove the that one. So it's code. I still need to understand a bit more about, I guess, interfaces, UI, DX, and text. Is text documentation?
Text is documentation, yes.
Okay, cool. This is going to be an improvement rather than an addition. We said 3 points. I think, again, priority. I'm going to give it a medium because I feel that it's not as low as the badges one, but it's slightly higher because it doesn't stop anyone from reading the docs, but I think it makes some confusion and people don't know what version of the docs they're actually looking at and so forth. So what do you think? Would you go with a medium?
I would go for medium. So low priority is for things that are just nice to have whenever,
Okay.
but it's not something that we want, that we want to allocate our resources to. Medium priority is for non-blocking changes that we do want, and we want sooner rather than later. High priority is for blocking changes, so anything that like a bug that prevents us from developing further, but doesn't prevent the current state of the project from being functional. And then critical is for anything that's bad enough it's breaking production.
Exactly. Okay, critical. We never want to see those. Hopefully it never gets to that. Awesome, I updated that. And before I forget, I didn't share to everyone my new YouTube channel. I should have shared that in the chat. So if people want, I've started creating shorts on a separate channel now, Eddie Jal TV. So I should have shared that in the chat. So if people want to go have a look, I do have now some shorts coming out, like 1 minute, kind of like tips and tricks. Okay.
Spoiler alert, Eddie falls out of a chair.
I haven't uploaded that one yet. I wasn't sure if I was going to. I think it was Alan who suggested I should. I was trying to keep it
you
like...
have to, because I spoiled it.
Did you watch the video?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm running a radio show right now.
No worries. Okay, my knee is almost, back to normal now, my shoulder and stuff. So my phone wasn't broken. No iPhones were hurt in the making of that video.
Were any Eddies hurt in the making of that
Yeah,
video?
a little bit. I'm getting old now. I can't bounce around on the floor like that. Andrew says, critical, drop everything, team swarm to fix it. Yeah, I haven't seen a critical in many years because now when you automate a lot of things, I think critical is less likely to happen because everything's automated, less human error. You usually can completely have a production-like environment beforehand to check everything. So yeah, I haven't seen a critical like that in a long time, which is good because just, you see people like on a Friday night. I don't know why people do deployments back in the day on a Friday afternoon, and then you see them all weekend like struggling to fix why it didn't work or roll back or something like that. But yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time, which is good.
Never ship on Fridays.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Okay, so we've got another one here. I'm gonna if anyone's got any ideas for the project, don't forget to raise the issue, get your green square for today, or start a discussion if you want to chat about something as well. And we can always create an issue later. So I'm just going to convert this to an issue. So this I thought was, people were asking me what actions do we have on the repo, and they didn't want to go look into the GitHub directory, or they didn't know they needed to look there, and then they didn't know what the actions did. So what I thought was maybe having a table near the top of the README that could just list the actions that we have, and maybe it lists the triggers and maybe the result, and maybe we probably need a table with a name as well. So I don't know what people think about that. So we have a name, first column, second column like triggers, and third column the result of that. HTML, not HTML, markdown table in the README explaining what actions we have with the following columns. And it will be, I think that's be more of a developer experience, stroke documentation. It's kind of on the fence. What do you think? More DX or text for that one?
I would call it text.
Okay, we'll go for text.
Yeah, if I was updating the actions themselves, that would be DX.
Got you. Okay, it makes sense. I think it's a good first issue. We're going to point it now in a second. I think it's a low. Right, points wise. Everyone ready to point?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Nick was born already. You're a machine, Nick. You don't sleep. You just code. You literally, when I think of Nick, I think of a green square.
I think I've got a few of those already today.
You probably have got a lot. Probably got a few zeros after the number today. Okay, let's point. Ready? 3, 2. Oh, dude, let me do a drum roll. Let me do a drum roll. Here we go. Oh, we can't hear a drum roll.
We can. We're not cool enough.
Yeah, I can't hear it either. I think it's finished now. Okay, go. 1 point.
3.
3.
1.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Why 3?
Wait, no, 2.
Okay.
2 is an option. I forgot 2 is an option.
2.
I think 2.
2 is an option. Okay. What I suppose why 2? Why is it harder than the badges? Was it twice the difficulty, risk, etc. of badges? I suppose.
Because this requires understanding of the YAML syntax and what the actions are doing. The badges is copy paste a link and add it to the documentation. But this is you have to understand what the actions are doing in order to accurately describe what the actions are doing in the documentation.
I think that's a good explanation. I know Alan and me and Jay in the chat gave it a 1. Hey, Francesco, awesome to have you here. I'll give you a shout out in a second. So I know we were the majority, but let's re-point because I actually want to rethink my number now that Nick has explained why he gave it a 2. So let's do it again. Drum roll. 3, 2, 1. Let's repoint. 2.
2.
I still kind of think it's a 1.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Jay, what do you think in the chat? If you stick to your 1, that's not a problem. We'll just mute you on Discord. No, I'm joking.
Fan.
Yeah. Stephen's here as well. Awesome to have you here, Stephen. 13. That's like some serious pointage. Just 13. Okay. That's still some big points. Okay.
So we know that Stephen struggles with docs.
Yeah, Stephen's docs are actually really good. When he writes an issue, they're excellent. Maybe too excellent, as in, yeah, I would prefer maybe a TLDR. That's one thing that when I'm collaborating with data stacks, one thing that Denise does, which is amazing, is she writes a really good like email or issue or whatever it is, but always puts a TLDR at the top. I love that. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing that too. I think that's great. Kind of like a teaser TLDR. Then you want to go and read the rest already to get the details.
I feel like the issue title should be the TLDR.
Yes, that's true. Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, that's true. But maybe like a TLDR and a little bit. No, like first thing, I don't know. Okay, so we had 2 points from me, 2 points from Nick. 2 points from Nick, 1 from Alan, and who do we have in there? 13 from Steve, but we never listen to Steve anyway. I'm just joking. So yeah, Alan, are you happy to go to a 2 as you're like now on the Revo outnumbered? Pardon the pun. Or do you want to really stick to your 1?
No, I won't stick to it too much. I think a 2 is fair. 1 was just how much information do we want to put in for results and stuff like that. These should be well described, I would think, that you could gather what it does, I guess, and then we could point them in the right direction.
True, but then you were kind of involving someone else. There's a bit of an effort from someone else, which by you saying that, I agree, but makes me think it kind of reinforces my thinking of number 2, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's fair. That's why we're talking it out.
Exactly. Awesome.
Yep, I could go down to a 1 if the ticket itself had the information for the developer to put in the documentation. But as it stands right now, I'm sticking with a 2.
That's a really good point, actually. Yes, and I suppose ticket numbers could go down if the ticket contained more, but then it's more of a kind of a copy and paste ticket.
You need a status
I think.
label on that.
Oh yes, because we've got another ticket, CI badges, that could have its own column for this. Aha, that's a really good idea. So we could have the actual badge itself, and then we could say from 71. Nice, I like that. That's why it's good to talk about these things. Okay, so the first column we can see all the statuses, and then we could see the name and triggers and results. Perfect. That's awesome. Love that. That's a much better ticket now from what we started off with for so many reasons. Not just the description, but also the goal of the ticket. So that's great. Love that. Okay. How are we doing on time? Okay. We'll do like a couple more maybe, and then we'll see what questions I have in the chat. I've missed a lot in the chat. Stephen, Microsoft for you. I think your number works. Okay, cool. Thanks, Andrew. And clients asked me to do that, right, 400 essays a day. I had one client that wanted me to document like everything to the nth degree, and then they never read the documentation. So I could have literally just copied and pasted Lorem Ipsum, and they wouldn't have read it. It was really odd. Okay. The title should encapsulate a ticket. Okay, I'll let people read the chat themselves as well, but really good feedback there. Cool. Okay, what ticket should we do next? We haven't actually done any, let me think. We need to do the Stargate stuff, so let's just create those tickets now as well, actually. So anyone in the chat want a green square for today? If you don't, I can create it, but if someone can create the ticket for, one is creating a serverless Stargate account. The other one will be writing the CRUD services to the Stargate database as well.
Hey, Eddie.
Yeah.
I got to interrupt here. We got to give a shout out to Francesco here.
Oh yes.
For making a donation in chat. Look at that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Francesco. And I should have given Francesco a shout out earlier when he said hi, and I said I would, and I forgot. Everyone, even without the money, but thank you so much, Francesco. Francesco is another YouTuber focusing on DevOps as well. Francesco, let me know in the chat if I got that right. But you do also chat to loads of other engineers. You like to share their stories on live streams, which I think is really awesome. So you've had so many amazing DevRel engineers, loads of awesome people in our tech space on your channel, like some really awesome people. So that's great. Go check out Francesco's channel. Nick, are you able to share Francesco's YouTube link in the chat, or should I grab it?
That's what I'm looking for right now.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. So thank you so much, Nick. That's great. But yeah, Francesco and me will probably be doing a collaboration in the future. Hello from the UK to Italy, Francesco. The reason why I was almost late for this live stream was because I was watching Francesco's live stream. So if I was late, I was going to blame Francesco. Poker planning with real money. Yeah, so people like Stephen and Andrew, they have more money than sense, so they like to poker plan with money, with real money. Thanks for sharing that, Nick. That's awesome. Oh, and I was on Francesco's channel as well. I'm sure I'll be on there again soon as well. Fibonacci versus t-shirt sizes. Oh, Andrew will have some thoughts on that. Andrew does like t-shirt sizes as well, especially when dealing with the client, because they don't get Fibonacci. So I know Andrew with the client sometimes says, well, this is a small, medium, large, extra small, whatever. And I think it makes it easier for the client sometimes. But with data stacks, they're technical themselves, so they get the story pointing, they get the appreciation from all the automation that we've done and all the rest. So they really appreciate that. So yeah, that's definitely worth it. Okay, I don't know if anyone's created any issues. If not, I'm going to create them myself just to save time. Let me close that. Let's open the issues. No one wants green squares. No one's created it. No one wants green squares. I'll create it. So we're going to say create account on Stargate serverless. And you can log in with GitHub serverless. And you can log in with your GitHub credentials, so it should be fairly painless. We'll create that. And then we will also want to do the CRUD services in the bot as well. So the bot has already been created by Nick. It's in a pull request. But we will also then need to do services. So any commands we want in our Discord bot can then just save this database, delete this from database, add this database, get this from database, and so forth. So we will want CRUD on Stargate. Stargate it sits in front of Cassandra, and you can either use GraphQL, REST API, and there's one other, and I can't remember what it is. But it's Cassandra underneath, so you can do lots of clever stuff. But the great thing is you can start off simple as well. CRUD on Stargate using REST. We'll make it clear that it's going to be a REST call, because that's pretty straightforward. We do that all the time. Okay, so Nick's got 62 green squares for today. Wow. Oh, Prathamesh says it's been created. I did refresh, I must have just missed it. Right, CRUD services. Oh, go on, Nick.
You're looking on the issue view, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's just appeared. So I can delete mine. Mine was just a note, so it's not a problem. I can delete this. There we go. And so we've got it here now. Writing CRUD service to Stargate database. Awesome. So what we can do on this project board is we can close this. We can open the card, and we can bring this onto here. There we go. And I have separated creating an account, but I've created that already, and it's really straightforward. But just to be thorough, I wanted to create a ticket for it. But literally just went to their website, and I just clicked login with GitHub, and it was done. It's like, I can even show you. Oh, it's really straightforward. Stargate, accept. Oh no, I think it's on DataStax actually. Oh, I can't think of the URL. Terrible. Get started. Let me see. This is the documentation. I didn't want documentation. Where did I log in? Try it now. Oh, Astra. That's the one. I just log in with GitHub. How are you using DataStax? Building a new app. Sign up. And then I probably don't have a database in there now. I don't think I actually did have anything, but it's just allows you to create those databases. And on the server, I have a test database. I have created a test database. You get $25 per month for free, but the fair use policy is like thousands of reader rights. I can't remember, but when you create a database, you can kind of select where you want it. If you want it on Amazon or Google or GCP, and so forth. So it's pretty awesome. But we'll talk about that another time. I'm not going to go into details on that now. Right. Okay, so I will convert that to an issue as well. It's pretty straightforward. Francesco, thank you so much for joining. Have a great weekend. Eddie Hub database when? Nick, is that a question for me?
That's a joke question. When do we spin up our own database service? Eddie Base.
Eddie Base. That's so funny. We'll add that to the queue of things we're doing, right? We've got EddieCon coming up. Still got to carry on planning with that. But yes, I'm getting some help soon. So in 8 weeks, my wife will be helping me full time on EddieCon and all the whole kind of Eddie Hub stuff. So I'm hoping she'll get me more organized and be able to help with a lot more stuff.
Eddie line of products. Eddie Linux, Eddie GitHub, Eddie Hub.
Eddie Cord.
Eddie, which one?
Eddie Cord.
Oh, Eddie Cord, yeah. Wow, keep us busy, definitely.
We'll fork Mattermost.
Yeah, that's true. Fork Mattermost, rename repo, done. Eddie is a service, but
Eddie is a service.
Technically, that's true, isn't it?
yeah, it's true. Just in time, Eddie JIT, just in time compiler. Awesome. Okay, let's point this one. I'm not even going to put a description for it. I think it's pretty. Well, I should really put a description for it. So I don't know. Register with Stargate serverless. And then I should say probably create database, like create database, and you need to give it a namespace and namespace. That's probably it, really. Okay, ready to point this one? I don't think anything else we need to add to this. I think it's pretty simple.
Right, I'm ready to point it.
Let's do it. I'll do a drum roll as well, sound effect. Hopefully that's getting through. 3, 2, 1. I give it a 1.
1.
Awesome. So this would be, I suppose, would it be code? It's kind of like admin.
Yeah, it's like admin.
Yeah, it
work.
would be code.
In the label standard, can we add more to this or no? Is this like what they've said should be?
You can add more.
Oh, you kind
You
of.
just have to follow the format.
Okay, so we could add kind of like a, I don't know, admin like label, I suppose. Okay, cool. Let's have a look. It's going to be an edition. It can't be a good first issue. It's going to be one.
It would be a staff-only issue.
It would be a staff-only issue, yes. And I think the priority is probably fairly high. No, probably not. It's going to block a lot of things, but you can use. I'm using Stargate at the moment with a Docker container locally, so it's not blocking anything. It's just changing the URL. So it's probably a low.
I'd give it a medium.
Medium. I
It's
can.
not blocking development, but it is something we want to do soon.
Sounds good. Okay, awesome. That one's now done. How are we doing? Eddie can do anything. Thank you so much, Alex. Oh, I should have had it so I can bring things up on the screen. I didn't turn that on. My bad. It's Francesco's fault. I was watching his live stream. That's why. Okay, so it gets more exciting to the coding one. CRUD services. So let's have a look. What we need to do with this one, we would want, we'd need to add a HTTP client to the Discord bot, and it's dependent on that pull request actually. So let me just open that pull request. It's always good to try and link things together. It's dependent on 67. So dependent on 67. And it would need to, so we would need to pick HTTP client. Anyone in the chat, what do you think? What's a good HTTP client? We can put that as a suggestion maybe. I'm guessing Axios is probably like the most.
I use Node Fetch.
Oh, okay. I'll put both down. Axios or Node. Is it Node Fetch like that?
Node-Fetch.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't used that one. I have to have a look as well and see. So we've done that. We will need to create a service that manages CRUD, but we will also need to authenticate. So we'll need to do the authentication piece first. So authenticate against Stargate for token. And then we can create the service to manage the CRUD. And that's it. It's going to be pretty straightforward. We'll probably need to create models, being TypeScript and those sorts of things. But I don't think I need to list all of those down. I think that they're a given. What do you think?
Yeah, I haven't used Stargate, but if it's just raw API calls, we'll have to define interfaces for all of those responses.
Yeah, so I wasn't going to list them, but maybe we should. So we'll just say, and then we'll just say TypeScript. So someone doesn't forget to do it, basically. So TypeScript interface for data. Okay, and we've got some suggestions in the chat. Fetch, Axios, Apollo client. I don't know Apollo client. Set up HTTP. Yeah, XHR. That's too advanced. That's too modern. Mohammed, awesome to have you here. And Prathamus gave it a 1 as well. Cool. 1998 wants his THTML back. Trust Stephen. Okay, so I think we need to point this. So we know what a 1 point is. We've got quite a few 1 points. We've got, was it a 13 or an 8? I can't remember what we had. Let's have a quick look while that's updating. We had 1 point, 2 point, we've got a 3 point, we've got an 8 point, and we've got a 1 point. So we've got kind of a rough range. So I think we're going to know each other's kind of... What? I didn't save. What happened there? Should have done the old school copy and paste before you hit submit, just in case it like times out and refreshes. What did we have? Forgotten what we had now.
Choose a client.
Oh yes.
Set up service, authentication,
HTTP
and the
client.
interfaces.
HTTP client. Add HTTP client. Interfaces. TypeScript. Interfaces for data. Service to manage CRUD. Did I miss anything else? Oh, token, wasn't it as well?
Authentication.
Authentication. Okay, we copy and paste that just in case I lose it this time. Don't know what happened there. Oh, it's taking a while. Okay, it worked this time. Awesome.
Oh yeah, dependent on.
Oh yes.
PR too.
Awesome. My memory's so bad. I'm showing my age. Dependent on, I think it was 67. Yes, I remembered something. Yeah. I didn't copy and paste that time. Don't time out. Don't time out. What's going on? GitHub might have an issue. Oh, it must do. Can't be my connection. Status.github, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it says it's all green. Okay, we'll keep an eye on it. Might not be green for much longer. And it timed out again. But at least I only just lost the top bit. Dependent on 67. I will copy and paste it this time just in case. Update. Come on. I think we broke GitHub. Too many points. GitHub can't handle the points.
Too many green squares.
Too many green squares. It's Nick's fault. Oh, I think it is dying
My
each time. Okay, you know what? I'll just go directly to the issue and I'll do it on there. It looks like that project board is not having...
It saved some stuff on the issue.
And that was from before, that's why. Yeah, it saved it before, then it's breaking again. It's not going to save it. It's fine. We'll leave it. I'll add to it later on. Yeah, it's
Add it in a comment below.
It might be safer. So we don't forget. And I can always then add that to... We broke GitHub. No. What have we done? Broke GitHub. That's taking too long. Right, we can point it. Hopefully, at least we can add points label to it. Let's have a look. So, okay, everyone happy? Thank you, Prathamus. Hope I pronounced your name right. Prathamesh, for creating that issue. You got a green square for green square for today. That's awesome. Let's point it. Everyone in the chat ready to point? Alex says 67, 76. They're not in Fibonacci. One.
No, they're talking about your issue there.
That thank you. Sorry, I'm a bit slow on the chat. It's Friday. You know, it's Friday. I'll just put it down to it's Friday. Okay. Let's point. Let me do a drum roll. 3, 2, 1. 5.
5.
What did Nick give it? 2 5s?
I gave it a 5.
You gave it 5 as well. Okay. Everyone in the chat, what did you give it as well? Yeah, I thought 8 was too much, but I thought 3 was too little, so I just sat on a 5, I think. 6, 5 from Jay. Okay, 5 it is. Let's see if GitHub is no longer busted, and hopefully we can change it. So it's definitely a code. It's definitely an addition. It's probably not a good first issue. We've given it 5 points, and It's probably a medium, I would have said, because
Yep,
it's quite
something
important.
we want, but it's not blocking.
Exactly, and it's ready for dev. Let's do it. Please save GitHub. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. It's saved.
It's
Okay, awesome. Did that commit did not save? Not 70. Oh, they are saving. It's saying error, but it looks like it is saving. Did I put 76? Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I got that. You can't comment at this time, but I got my comments in anyway.
Okay, cool. Not 7. I hit edit and it's there. That's really strange. But okay, 67. Right, update. I want to give up on trying to update this. This issue does not like me. Okay, right. We should probably order some of these as well. But there are some good first issues as people want green squares. Let me share a link in the chat. You can... there are some really good issues and tickets. So if you go to the issue list, you can filter by good first issue. And you can see there's a 1 point here and there's a 2 point there. So the 1 point will be easier than the 2 points. So do have a look. Any questions you can always ask. This is a real client project. So it will put you, getting involved will put you in front of my client as well, which I think is awesome. I think it's awesome. But you might not think it's awesome. But it's a great way to grow your network. Cool. Okay. Well, how are we doing on time? Okay, let's just do last one. Have we got any questions in the chat as well? And if everyone is there, don't forget, by the way, to subscribe to my other YouTube channel, which is going to be just 1 minute or less video shorts. So I'm quite keen
of falling out of chairs.
There's going to be one of falling out of chairs. Shh, don't tell anyone. It's like a surprise. That'll probably be my best video compared to... That took like 10 seconds to film. But these videos that took me like a day to produce probably won't do as well.
Yeah, the chair video getting like 2 million likes or something ridiculous. We'll be just dying of laughter.
It's true. I'm still dying of shoulder and knee pain. I didn't hit my head, which was good. Right. Okay. Everyone watching, by the way, give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Last issue. Which one shall we do next? I think we should do one that's important. Contributing files quite important, but the reason why I'm pausing on that is because we have a PR that is huge and it's got loads of comments on it. So it's going to take a lot longer. And so unfortunately, we're missing out on that value, which is why everyone watching, it's so important to create a pull request that's small because we can get it merged in quicker and we can get it to add value really quickly. You can see just from this, really good. It's got lots of information on, but there's lots more to go through it. You can see that not only has it been opened for 14 days and we're still working on it, it's already got 34 comments. So that's why it's really important to keep your pull request small as possible. Just add value. That's what you need, not lines of code that change. So let's have a look. Okay, so we won't pick that one. We've got the commands. I think we should do this one next. I need to reorder these, but let me just bring this up to the top so we can see it. But so once we've got the database connected to the Discord bot, we actually need the commands to add the bio and thanks GitHub. We busted GitHub. Like, we've properly broken it. We need a fail sound effect. I think I got a fail again. Try again sound effect.
Does this mean I get the day off?
I think so. I think we're going to have to take the day off. Yeah. Hopefully we can point this one. So what have I done? So this was created 14 days ago on our first live stream when we started working on this client's project. So thank you very much. Leal, if you're in the chat, say hey. Thank you so much for creating this. So we need a Discord bot command to add and retrieve the bios. This is solely for bio. Oh no, they've actually, yeah, for bio. It's not for socials. Oh, there is another one for socials here. We could probably do it in the same ticket, I think. They're going to be quite similar. So we need to vote on this one. And I have started putting some things against it. So it's going to be code. It's going to be addition. It's going to be code addition. We're going to point it now together. I think it will fit in medium with the rest and what we've discussed already. It will be ready for development shortly. Okay, should we point this? Any questions on this one? Or should we all point it together?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Cool. Oh, we have Kushi in the chat. Hey, Kushi, how you doing? We have Karuna is here as well. Awesome to have you here, Karuna. ViViV as well. We're coming to an end. We're ending in a few minutes. You're all joining now. Oh no, it must be GitHub notifications. Hey, Eddie, notice that if I take out the traffic light thing out of the issue, I can raise an issue. I don't get that, Stephen. I'm not sure what you mean. I might have to read that again afterwards. I'm probably reading it too fast, and I'm terrible at reading normally. Let's point this one. Okay, so this ticket is to create. So the Discord bot would have been created already. It would already be connected to Stargate database. So it will have the service already there to save details and to get details. So this is doing the Discord command part and then passing data to and from a service within our project. But we don't have to worry about what that service has done. That's done in another issue already. So actually I probably can't update this now because GitHub's having some issues, but we should add that it's dependent on the other ticket as well. So I think you all said you were ready to point. So in the chat, let us know what Fibonacci point you give it. If you've just joined, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. And then we will add it. Okay, we have on Eddie Radio, Nick and Alan. So let's shout it out. Drum roll, please. 3, 2, 1, go. 3.
5.
I lost. Okay. No, we're only one apart, so that's not too bad. As I'm the odd one out, I will probably explain my 3. I was thinking it's to create the command, straightforward. We've got a good foundation already. I think there's an example command already in the PR that's opened by Nick. So we're just going to use that as an example. Then I was going to pass the data to the service that we created in the previous ticket to save it, and then the other command to read it. And we're also doing the social links. And so I gave it a 3. I'd say it's a high 3, so I'm happy to go to a 5. Did you want to either of you want to, or both of you want to feedback on why you'd give it a 5?
Yeah, we will, when that PR lands, have the infrastructure and documentation for adding a new command. But we're still looking at both the creation of a command and the interaction with the database. And I'm not 100% familiar with Stargate, but when I go to add, I use MongoDB, and when I go to add a new command that creates a new database object, we're looking at a new schema to define the structure of that database collection.
That's true.
And that's not that doesn't exist, and that won't exist with our CRUD PR, because we won't have any data to use yet. So really, that's the big pain point there, I think, is creating the information for the database to structure the biocommands data.
That's true. I think that's well explained. Alan, did you want to add anything?
No, that's pretty much it. It's just the database parsing. There's a little bit of parsing going to be involved, and
True.
if it's their first time, there's a couple ways to attempt it. So I think a 5.
Sounds good. I'm happy to go to a 5. We did have Alex give it a 3. Stephen gave it a 5. And also Stephen said tests. So yes, testing a Discord bot is super, super painful. Something I really believe is important. And even my Battlesnake has got Cucumber automated tests on it. So I do believe it's important, and I'd love to do it for this, but Discord, because of the WebSocket, I actually spent, I think it was last weekend, trying to mock out the WebSockets and simulate passing in data that's coming from a Discord, like fake WebSocket, into the bot. So therefore the bot would react and respond in a certain way, and I could check that. But because the connection in the test on the WebSocket doesn't stay open, the bot just continues to hit that reply to that test even before it's got the reacted with the result, because it's trying to reopen the connection because it wants to keep the WebSocket connection open for any new data that's coming in. So automated testing that was really hard from an end-to-end point of view, end-to-end in terms of the bot. But then unit testing has benefit as well, different types of benefit. But I also know we'd have to really decouple ourselves from the Discord library, because I know that someone wrote a test for Nick's bots, and you have to mock out like so many, or stub out, I should say, integrate parts of the library. So really, we'd then have to have an extra layer of abstraction. So therefore, we are only stubbing out like the adapters that we would use into the bot. So that is possible, but it comes to a point the tests need to add value rather than be a hindrance. So yeah, with normal stuff like a website or an API, it's straightforward. It's been done like many times. There's loads of examples on there, loads of great libraries on there. But with a Discord bot that's using WebSockets, it makes it that little bit challenging and hard. If anyone has any great ideas or resources, then I'm all ears. But I have spent quite a bit of time on it. I did get something kind of working, but not really. So yeah, it was painful with the WebSocket side. Yeah, I just see Nick's comment in the chat. I'd love to bring that up on the screen now. I give testing Discord bots. That's a lot of zeros. I don't know, like 1 trillion points. But Nick, I have to ask you a question. Is that in the Fibonacci sequence or not? I think it looks too unified to be in the sequence.
It is in the Fibonacci sequence that results when you try to test a Discord bot.
True. Okay, it makes sense. Saeed, awesome to have you here. Thanks for saying hey in the chat. Hope you're doing well. We're coming to an end. Loads of people are joining and we're coming to an end. I've got a Twitter.
I was gonna say, I've got a meeting at 11, so I have to jet out of here in a couple of minutes.
No worries. You go when you need to. I need to go as well because I've actually got a Twitter brought out a Clubhouse feature, and I've been invited to do that. I haven't got the feature on my phone, so I don't know how it's going to work, but apparently I still can join because the person who creates the room to chat on for everyone else to join only needs the feature, whereas everyone else can join. So I don't know. You can catch me on Twitter chatting with a panel of actually Sid will be there, I think, and a few other people. Other YouTubers will be there, and we're going to chat about freelancing is the idea. But I don't know if I want to be able to join because I don't know where I'm meant to click or look. I need to figure that out after this live stream. But yeah, everyone's joining right at the end. GitHub, YouTube notifications, hey. Yeah, the event-driven design is an extra 1,000 points for end-to-end. Yeah, it's a bit painful. I mean, the writing to the database is quite easy to do. You could include the database, or we could mock out the HTTP request with Nook. That part's fine, but it's the whole bot listening to events is the hardest part. Yeah, you can make loads of money. I think if you crack that nut, that would be good. Right, okay, so what did we agree? I think we agreed, was it 5?
I think we said 5.
Okay.
I said 5.
I think we said 5. Hopefully that updates and doesn't fail. I'll remember it's a 5, and I can always do that later on. Just want to say a huge thank you to everyone for joining this live stream. What happened?
You should take a look at the GitHub status page again.
Has it not gone green? Status.github. Lots of incidents. Whole thing. Oh, wow. Okay. GitHub pages is still up. Yes.
GitHub pages, everything else. We crashed everything else.
We were all working too hard. So I'll have to update that later on. That obviously failed on GitHub. Lots of red. Thank you all so much for joining this live stream. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Go follow Nick and Alan on GitHub as well. See what awesome projects they're working on.
If you can follow right now. I don't think you can follow
yes,
right now.
True. Follow later on. When GitHub is not red like this, when it's not red like that, then you can follow people. But do chat to us in Discord between live streams and videos. And I'll see you on the live stream on Monday with Sid deploying our Docker container to our Kubernetes cluster. Our bot is going to be alive. And then there's no more issues in the future when features get added. It's just as soon as it gets merged, it gets deployed out automatically, and there's no more manual deployment, which I think is going to be epic. Paradoodly, thank you so much for the positive feedback. I'd love to bring your message up on the chat, but I didn't start that service, so I'm really sorry, but thank you so much. That's awesome. I appreciate everyone's feedback. Have a great weekend, everyone. Remember, green square a day keeps Eddie away, and I will be tomorrow posting that video that Nick mentioned on my second YouTube channel for shorts. It'll be like a 20-second video of my behind the scenes of me setting up today with my new, I'll give you a clue. It's of a new apparatus, a new item that I bought for this live stream today, and it involves this. Oh, I've got headphones on. I might get strangled if I go around too far. But it involves that. I'll say no more. Check out the video and let me know. Any last remarks, Nick or Alan, while you're on Radio Eddie?
Yeah, GitHub pages just went down too.
No way! Let me refresh. Oh no! Poor GitHub. What do they say? Op hugs. What's the hashtag? GitHub Ops or something, just to say, for all the DevOps people at GitHub, good luck. You're in our thoughts. Wish you all the best in getting this back up and running. And at least I got my green square for today. So if it takes them a bit of time, I've got my green square for today, so I'm all good.
Somebody's panicking right now.
Yes, absolutely.
This is why you don't This is why you don't ship on Fridays.
Yes, I'm actually in the Slack for GitHub. So I'm sure when I've closed it during the live stream, I'm sure when I open it now, I'm going to see it red and see lots of conversations going on. They're poor engineers, but I won't want to distract them. But it'll be interesting to see what they're chatting about and see what the issues are. But that's quite a major for all these services to go down. That's quite because usually they're quite independent, being microservices and so on. So it's quite a major thing that must have happened. So yeah.
Yeah, it was all our green squares.
Yeah. Thanks, Alex, for the positive feedback. Awesome. Prathamash. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm really sorry if I'm not. But awesome. Until next time, Saeed, I don't understand what's going on. It's the end of the live stream, but join us on Monday and join us at the beginning, and hopefully you can follow along. If you have any questions after this live stream, ask in Discord, and someone in the community or myself will be able to help. Right, Nick needs to go, and I need to go. We'll catch you all soon. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.